In the Gita, Krishna describes 4 kinds of people who turn to him. The one who is in crisis and needs help, the one who desires wealth and prosperity, the one who is seeking to grow spiritually, and finally the one who truly knows Krishna. It is this last person who is deemed the highest of all. While faith in God is always an admirable quality, turning to religion only when we have a problem or when we want some kind of material desire is an immature level of spiritual development. Instead of falling into the category of a spiritual seeker or even one who truly knows the divine, many of us have settled for being a cultural Hindu. We are happy to party and light lamps during Diwali or to dance at Garba events. We are eager to go to the temple during exam time or when we are searching for a partner. But rarely do we spend time contemplating on the reason why we exist. It is natural and normal to want a materially successful life, but at the same time, as a Hindu, we should remember the bigger questions upon which our tradition is founded on. The Vedas, Gita, and numerous other texts all declare that we are spiritual beings who have entered this world for a reason. They emphatically describe the nature of who we are and set the way in which we can experience this for ourselves. The question is, are there enough Hindus attempting to discover the experience that their religion is based on? There is no doubt that Sanatana Dharma embraces all of life. It recognizes desire, wealth, and righteous principles as legitimate goals to attain. But it is the yearning to rise beyond, to find that which is transcendent and unchanging, that forms the epicenter of Hindu Dharma. The cultural aspects only have value in relation to the ultimate truth. Without an emphasis on this truth, the various customs and rituals simply become shallow gestures. Greeting each other with Namaste is not just an Indian way of saying hello. It is a recognition that the person you are greeting is not the body, but the Atman, a part of God. This simple act is saying that however they are as the mind and body, we see them as a divine manifestation. The murtis in our house are not just decorative statues that we do a quick arati to for good luck. They are the living presence of the divine in material form. It is where God becomes part of our household. Hinduism has all the wisdom and practices, but it requires a longing heart to be able to grasp the real value of them. This comes when we realize a simple fact: nothing in this world lasts. As Krishna says, the pleasures that arise from contact with different objects, though appearing enjoyable to worldly-minded people, are actually a source of misery. O Arjuna, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise do not delight in them. The great career that we are so desperate to get, the relationship that seems to define our whole life, the fame and praise that is so addictive, will all pass. But most of all, there is the constant threat of death itself. At any moment, the whole game we have invested in can be mercilessly ripped away from us. In the Mahabharata, Yudhishthira is asked what he believes is the greatest wonder. He replies that the most amazing thing is that even though every day we see countless living beings dying, we still act and think as if we will live forever. Realizing the temporary nature of life is not meant to depress us, but to awaken us to a higher sense of purpose and grant more clarity in the way we live. When we fully see how everything perishes, inevitably we will yearn to know that which lies beyond it. Central to Hinduism is karma and reincarnation. Unfortunately, many use this concept to justify a relaxed approach to spiritual progress. They rest on the idea that there will always be another chance to find the truth, so now is the time to take it easy and enjoy. But as Krishna says in the 8th chapter of the Gita, we have been helplessly caught in a cosmic rat race. Life after life, we have become deluded by this world and forgotten who we are. Understanding how we have been perpetually enslaved by our desires should urge us to finally seek a way out. Many might argue that to desire truth in God, we need some kind of a sign or experience to motivate us. But God is not cheap, and divine revelation does not appear just to satisfy mere curiosity. As Ramakrishna put it, like a drowning man pants hard for breath, so must one's heart yearn for the Lord before one can find him. Amongst Hindus, there needs to be a greater shift from using God as someone who might make us survive and thrive in the world, to someone who is the centerpiece that gives meaning to this world. Whether we worship Krishna, Shiva or Durga, whether we believe God has a form or not, whether we prefer to worship or meditate, we must develop a sincere desire to grow and transcend. As a global Sangha, we have to reach an understanding that even identifying as a Hindu carries a responsibility. It is not about merely following Indian customs and celebrating festivals, but rather about one who has imbibed the wisdom of our rishis and is earnestly seeking to follow in their footsteps. Some might say we cannot force people to want something higher. After all, the pursuit of divine realization is a very lofty goal. But this attitude is itself the problem. Of course, there are always going to be individuals who have no interest in growing spiritually. At the same time, there are innumerable Hindus who are sleepwalking. Because they have not been inspired or encouraged to seek something beyond, they carry on with a normal mundane life. They may marvel at the wisdom of the Vedas, but believe it is not something they themselves need to strive for. Put simply, we as Hindus should seriously try to achieve what our religion teaches us. The more Hindus who wake up and pursue a spiritual path, the more others will naturally do the same. There are many who feel that securing the future of Hinduism is about robustly defending it intellectually with knowledge and ideas. There is no doubt that this is extremely important. But if the foundation of Hindu Dharma rests on knowing the divine directly, then knowledge and ideas need to be validated through our own individual experience. Otherwise, they become entirely theoretical and divorced from our lived reality. There are currently around 1.2 billion Hindus in the world. The strength of Sanatana Dharma rests on how many of us choose to graduate beyond being a cultural Hindu to a true seeker. It relies on enough individuals dedicating their life to a spiritual purpose. It relies on people believing they too can experience God. With this in mind, ask yourself, do you honestly believe that you are just this mind and body? Do you believe your life is a mere accident? Can you not sense a grander meaning to your existence? Every day, meditate and absorb yourself in these questions. Make them the focus of your life, and using the glorious tradition of Sanatana Dharma, forge your way back home to the Supreme. Many thanks for listening.